We all want to be remarkable.
Your business demands it. Our communities crave it.
You know you're on the right trajectory when opportunities launch you into unexpected directions you never thought possible. Join me, Kate Volman,
and fellow marketing strategist Kyle Sexton every week as we explore ideas you're not considering.
Share stories from others like you who despise mediocrity, and discover how whatever you're building has the power to
change your business,
change your community,
change your trajectory.
When was the last time you took a day off, Kate Volman?
A full day off.
Don't hem and haw. Should be pretty easy. Like, did you take yesterday off?
No.
Did you take the day before off?
You know, the last time I took a day off where I didn't check an email or do anything work related, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm embarrassed to say. I really need to do that.
When was the last time you went on a retreat? Like, it's Kate and Kate. Just retreat. When was the last time you went on like a work retreat for you?
I hang out with myself too much already, so I'm in my head enough already. Yeah, I do that every.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So you were telling me about Bill Gates has that thing called Think Week, and tell me about what that's about and why it's so awesome that you haven't done it. You haven't even done 1/7 of it, or maybe Think Week. Is it Think Week? What, 7 days, or is it 5 business days? Is it a Think Business Week, or is it Think Calendar Week?
I don't know what Bill Gates did. I think it was a full 7 days. But so some people might know of his Think Week, and it's where really you got to Google that. Google it.
If it was so important, Google would send it to me. Google knows what I need. No, actually, Amazon really knows what I need. That's beside the point.
Definitely knows.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
You know what? I think I was on a Think Week once when my Windows did an update that took a week. And maybe Bill Gates, maybe Bill Gates was behind that. Right? Bill's like, hey guys, remember me? I built this place. I'd like everybody to think about an involuntary Think Week. Not for us, but for all the Windows users out there. Let's do an update that takes a ridiculous amount of time and throws everybody off. How about that? An involuntary Think Week. Nobody can do anything because the damn Windows is still updating. Even over high-speed internet.
I'm going to make everyone take a Think Week if they like it or not.
Yeah. It's like you're not thinking, but your computer is thinking. It'll be the most frustrating week of their lives. People will be beside themselves.
Oh my God.
And we'll use that as a catalyst to create this thing called Think Week.
Think Week.
All right, so what is Think Week really? Because if it's not the updating of and I know you use Mac, so you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, Kyle.
That's right. I'm a Mac girl. No, so he
Kate
takes on. Oh, you should have seen me too at this conference, because when I go somewhere where I know I have to use my computer for the presentation, just cords and cords of everything that I might need.
Yeah, Mac people love their dongles. You gotta have lots of.
We don't love them. You just need them. It's a little frustrating. No, so he will go away to some remote location, and I've heard that he's gone like in the middle of nowhere in like the woods in a cabin, and he just takes a whole week to disconnect, and he brings a lot of notes and ideas that his team has sent him.
Yeah.
And he's just taking a week to reflect, think about the business, think about where he's going, read all of the ideas that his team has, reading about technology and where that's going, and just takes a week to just be out of the day-to-day of the business stuff.
Is he alone for this mostly, or?
I think he's alone for it.
Okay.
From
So
what I read, it was just, I mean, maybe his wife hangs out with him.
I call that Saturday. Like, like, of course, I now live in the woods. I live in the woods that I'm calling it the Croydon Wildlife Preserve. Because over the weekend, I have bumped into almost literally about 8 different deer, and I've named them all. And if I spent a week in a cabin in the woods, I would probably spend the first 5 hours looking for wild animals to name, because that's how I roll. I'm weird like that. But I have done this. I had a speaking gig in Nebraska and in Colorado, and I had a weekend in between the two, and I had a long weekend in between the two. And so rather than fly home, I rented a $1 million house at an elevation of 10,000 feet.
What?
And I beat myself up for 3 days straight as to why I'm renting a $1 million house instead of owning a $1 million house. And it was really, there was no connection up there. In fact, usually you do something like that to go hike in the woods and all that stuff. But did I mention I was at an elevation of 10,000 feet? You're not hiking anywhere at 10,000 feet. I tried to walk a quarter mile up the road, and I was out of breath like crazy. So I don't recommend it for you flat earthers in Florida. Like, don't go from elevation 2 feet to elevation 10,000 feet in your quest for solitude and think week. Okay.
No.
But I would imagine that even for somebody like Bill Gates, who has access to awesome teams and has all the resources in the world, having that solitude and having that place of peace is super important. My mug today comes from Jeff Walker, and Jeff Walker product launch formula fame, has a giant community of people, but so 1,000 people or more show up when he plans a public event, and he does a lot of these think weeks, and one of them is at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and he takes his crew, and you have to do the lottery kind of a thing to get a pass in the time of year that he wants to do this, to go down and do this 9 days of zero connection. I mean, you take a satellite phone. Like, Think Week does not have to be so isolated as to put it at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, right?
No.
That's ridiculous. And you don't have to put your life in jeopardy in the rapids at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, Jeff Walker. You don't have to take your brother and your son and all your buddies and like just almost certain death. But I think he does it like for the stories. I bet you he's writing it off because he gets to use all these stories. Yeah, I bet that's what's happening. But anyway, all of the most successful entrepreneurs who are taking what might appear to us to be huge steps in their business, but to them might be minor, tiny little steps that have a big incremental difference. They're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And the new productivity isn't scheduling yourself with things to do for 8 to 18 hours a day, 6 to 8 days a week. I don't know how that works, but the new productivity is creating a rhythm. I got to meet an entrepreneur in Fredericksburg about 1.5 years ago, and he was different. And I could tell right off that he was different. And he had a small, modest office, and he had some company values that were obvious as soon as you walked in. And I said, "Can we take a time out for a second? Tell me about how you got your mindset." He goes, "I'm sorry?" Because this was way off track. I said, tell me how you got, I said, something is different with you. Something is different here. How did you get, where is this mindset coming from? He said, I don't know what you're asking, but I think I'm gonna take a stab at it. And he told me about what he's reading, and he told me about what he loves to do when he's not working. And both of the things that he loves to do when he's not working involve the outdoors. And one of them is better in the fall, and it ain't football. But I think it was hunting related, or turkey hunting or something. But anyway, it's this real happy place. It's not about hunting a turkey, if that's what it was. It was about being outside and being disconnected. And it's what you're talking about, this think week. And it's about being with only his closest longtime friends and doing this. And so there was something in the spring and there was something in the fall that he looked forward to like nobody's business. And so he decided to create his own work life around these two things. And he was going to take some time off in the spring and some time off in the fall. And he was going to build for himself a life that he did not have to vacation from.
Mm-hmm. That's the best.
Is that just great?
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
And Think Week plays a role in that, whether it's whether that's the thing you're looking forward to, disconnecting, but I doubt it. You know, for Jeff Walker at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, it's both R&R and Think Week. And I don't think you have to isolate yourself in a cabin in the woods. If that sounds like torture for you, if you got to disconnect in that way to take some time off to think about your business, maybe that's not the right environment for you, right? What do you think? What are some other places that people could go? Florida to
Florida. Well, it's not even about the place. To me, it was just about the mindset and him taking that time, you know, because it is sometimes it's hard for us to just take time to just disconnect, to really truly disconnect and let us think through our business and where it's going. And I find that it's so easy to just get caught up in the just go all the time that we forget. Sometimes I feel like, am I even, wait, what am I doing again? Like what's happening? You know, like it's kind of, especially for solopreneurs with so many different things being thrown at you. Sometimes I realize, and we were just talking about this before we got on the call. I'm like, I've taken on a lot of things. I've taken on all these opportunities and projects that I really love. I need to take a step back, take a pause, and just refocus, you know, just get back the clarity that sometimes you can, at least for me, like I have this issue. I don't know. I get really focused.
Moment of honesty. Do you think the issue is related to the fact that you haven't taken a Think Week?
I think that something like a Think Week, yes. Like something where I'm just really intentional about, and I've been getting better at taking like a day of just not, I don't even want to think. I want like a non-think week. I want like I just want to chill, allow myself to just not be trying to analyze and strategize and figure out and do and all that. It's almost like what he does at his think week. I want to do the opposite and just let myself not think about things.
So where would yours be? Would yours be on a beach somewhere? Or would it be in a condo in New York City? Where would yours be? I mean, you say it's not about the place, but identify the place and map it out for me, because
Oh yeah,
I get what you want to do, but are you gonna stay home for your Think Week? Because I can imagine you getting a lot of laundry done.
Yeah, no, I would definitely. I love being outside. I love being on the beach. I love being in that. I like being hot, so I would like to be on the beach. Like for me, going to like a yoga retreat or like somewhere on the beach and I have an opportunity to just do some yoga stuff, some meditation stuff, some things that I love learning about all of that too. And because I like being active. So where we could do fun things like paddleboarding and just being out in the water and doing like activities, not just like laying out on the beach, but actually doing stuff. That would be,
I hear you.
that would be so fun. But ideally it would be with people who like, those people in your life that you just love because they're working towards something too. And like they kind of are crazy like you because they just work all the time. I like people like that.
And how much would you spend to get in front of people to be at a yoga retreat place with people like that?
How much would I spend?
Yeah, how much would you spend to do it if you knew that this was the right thing for your business? And I know I'm getting personal here, but I know how much I spend. I know how much I spend to be in a room twice a year with people who are crazy like me. I spend 10 grand a year to be in that room twice a year for 2 days. 2 days with the same people, and then 5 days total with other crazy people that I haven't met yet. So, and I know it's been helpful to my business. Has it been a benefit to the tune of 10 grand or more in my business? Probably. Directly? No, but probably.
Yeah.
Probably 5 times that. But directly? No. So is it about who you're in a room with, or is it about taking the time off? I think people like Bill Gates have already been through the stage that you and I have been in, are currently in, and he's spent the time with the people who are crazy like him at the time, or they were in the same trajectory as him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I see that the people that I follow, like I see who they follow, and I see where they're going, and I see that they are all connecting to each other 1 week a year, and they're spending a lot of coin to do that. But you don't have to spend a lot of coin to do that. I had an open house this weekend to finally. I've been here 6 weeks, and I had traveled for the first 4 weeks, not solidly, but I was traveling every single week. So I was gone at least 3 days of the week, sometimes 5. And so I finally had a housewarming and kind of got all my friends and in here, and even the deer showed up. It was great. Great.
Of course.
Yeah, it was really great.
They love you. You feed them.
The deer love me too much, I think, already. But they're all telling their friends, and they tell their friends, and they tell their friends, and they tell their but at the housewarming party, everybody was like, because I have small acreage here, and I have a couple of different spaces. And I mean, it's not a compound or anything. I might not start a cult here, but several of my entrepreneurial friends were like, Kyle, you should be holding retreats here. So Kate, what about doing Think Week here at the Crows and Wildlife Preserve?
That would be a super fun time.
Because I got some kick-ass entrepreneurial friends who are like, Kyle, this needs to happen. This little cocoon of nature is a sure thing for helping people disconnect from their reality and reconnect with the things that are their most important. And hey, I'm into it. I'm totally into it. So right here on Trajectory, I'm announcing. No,
you heard it here first.
Heard it here first.
Hey, you never know. That's
But
awesome.
there's something really important about disconnecting.
Yeah.
And turning off those outer voices, because sometimes just even checking your Instagram can enter in a voice or a trigger or an emotion by seeing something that represents something that is contrary to your big, hairy, audacious goal. And so that disconnecting, I think is really important. And I wish that the conferences that I went to that I invested in had that sort of disconnection. And it wasn't just sitting in a conference room for 8 or 10 hours a day. So that's not my think week. That's a work week where I get to be around other crazy people, but that can't be my think week, right? Like,
yeah, no, I totally agree. I was gonna say we're talking about two different.
Your think week is not alone. Right? My think week might be alone, but your think week doesn't sound like it's alone.
No, well, I look, we're talking about two different things really, because like your conferences and things you go to, just like the ones that I go to, that's when I'm jazzed and I'm psyched to learn and grow and to build relationships with those people.
No. Things like what I'm talking about are what people do when they should be doing a think week.
Oh, okay. I got
this whole topic of taking a week to go think about your business causes people to go, well, what if I just turn that conference into a think week? It's kind of a think week, you know?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, right? And you have to do what's best for you, right? Like he goes and he is reading ideas and he's still studying and learning it. And so that's what he does. But I think for me, and the reason why I was thinking through this topic was more around like what we were first talking about, just a week of like not really thinking, like a week of just allowing myself to not like put myself in a position where my sister teases me about this all the time. She's like, everything in your life has to have an outcome. Like everything, like you don't want to spend time doing anything unless you know the outcome. And she's like, can't you just like go hang out and with no purpose of anything?
She just nailed it.
Oh my gosh. It's hilarious. She just teased it. Even when it comes to dating, she'll be like, you just don't, you like think 10 years like ahead.
Oh,
like
God.
Everything.
Those poor guys.
Well, no, sometimes it's why like I'll talk myself out of it. But anyway.
You seem to check a lot of boxes and you're a handsome man, but let's talk about those sideburns. you think 10 years from now, are they going to be better manicured than now? Do you think they're going to be?
I'm going to show you my friend Kyle. Are you ever going to have a beard like this? Are you ever?
If you are, I'm going to need to see I need to see evidence of the facial hair of your ancestors, so we can determine how yours is going to grow in, if it grows in at all. I got to make some serious long-term decisions here.
Oh my gosh. So yes, I think I just sometimes it's just good to take a pause and listen and just let it go. Like, let it be. It's almost like, what is that? Oh, what's that phrase? The only way out is through. Yeah. Sometimes I'll think about that because it's like when I just always, we want to know the answer, right? Especially as a solopreneur, like we want to know what's the outcome, what's the answer, where are all these things going? Am I doing the right things? Am I going to get those results? And I just think that we can overthink things so much instead of just, hey, I'm just going to take a step back and maybe things will show up that I will never put down on paper because I'm not letting myself just like attract some stuff, or I'm missing opportunities because I'm just too focused on looking for them.
So some of the folks who are listening to Trajectory right now are thinking, yeah, what is the point? What's the point of this conversation? Get to the point, Kyle. That's what they're saying. So, Kate, we were talking earlier, there are 4 things that you could do during your pause, your think week. Let's give Trajectory listeners those 4 things that you've made a list of that we could be doing.
That we can be doing?
Yeah. What are those? Give me the what if we could.
So if we take a pause in our business, these are the things that could come from it, could come from that just intentional way of taking a step back. You could, like I said, identify an opportunity that in hindsight is probably an obvious one. Has that ever happened? You're like, how did I not see that?
I hear you. What's number 2?
You can discover things that you can stop doing.
I
This
love
one
that
you love.
Right next to the to-do list is the to-don't list.
Yes. Because that can be
for everything that you start new, what are you going to stop doing?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, that's so.
Or outsource.
Yeah. It's like in your closet. Have you ever heard in your closet, if you buy something, if you buy a new outfit or new shirt, you give one away. So you just you're not like a hoarder.
You've seen
next,
apparently.
you can realize it's time to pivot. This one I think is so huge because I've seen some of my entrepreneurial friends just hold on so tight to their idea, and they could have pivoted so much earlier, and they just kept trying to make something happen that was like the writing was on the wall, like you need to make some changes.
Yeah.
And then gain clarity and focus. Just getting back to the clarity and focus of your business instead of just like every day just grinding, just trying to get done with your to-do list, just having that real clear vision of where you're going so you know what things you should be working on every day, so it doesn't just get blurred and you are forgetting where you're trying to go.
So it occurs to me that some people are so good at Think Week that that's all they do.
Oh, they just think and they don't do.
Yeah. And so I would add a number 5 to that. So in gain clarity and focus, or, not a step 5, but a step 4.2 would be to clearly define the actions that are going to come from this and make those actions as quickly as possible. Because I think that's the difference between being an entrepreneur and a wantrepreneur. The wantrepreneur the W stands for wish. They wish these things. They identify the opportunity. They discover the things that they could stop doing. They realize that it's time to do it. It's time to pivot. It's time to take advantage of these opportunities and things that we stop doing and make a change. And they gain clarity and focus, and then they go back to their JOB, or they go back to doing it exactly the way that they were doing it, or they do nothing at all. They write it down and they put it in the drawer, or what have you. But they just don't do it. So the clarity and focus, I think the real action step on the clarity and focus is to define not just the point on the map that you're headed to, but put some directions down from where you are and how you're going to get there. What are the action steps? Not just the things that you're going to stop doing. When are you going to stop doing it? Right, Kate, you told me about the SMART goal. And I think that you can go through those steps for the things that you're going to stop doing. How are you going to define when you've stopped doing it? Who are you going to share it? Who are you going to share it with? Right? That's shared, isn't it? M is measurable, A is attainable, R is realistic. T is time phase.
Time bound, yep.
Time bound. So go back through those trajectory episodes, take your notes, and apply them right here at Think Week. And at some point in the future, maybe you'll get an invite to the Croix and Wildlife Preserve.
Yes.
For your very own Think Retreat. Hey, you see?
Oh, oh my gosh, you have 2 of them?
I love the Thinker. I love the Thinker. What Rodin said about his thinker statue, what he loves about it is that the thinker thinks not only with his head, but he thinks with his clenched fist and every muscle in his body.
Ooh.
That's all he's doing. So, Kate, you're one of those people that Think Week is kind of tailor-made for, and are you going to freak out when you're taking a week away from the hustle, from the bustle, from the to-do? Are you going to freak out? Are you going to be all right?
I think I'm going to be all right. I'm not going to take a week, though. I don't need a week.
I think you should take a week.
Then I might freak. The only time that
See?
I have taken a full week, is when I went on a cruise and I didn't have, and this is years ago, so there was no
Interwebs. Yeah.
There was no internet. And it took me a full day to be like, oh my gosh, my phone, nothing's working. And then the rest of the trip, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I thought, this is what it feels like. This
To be in prison?
is amazing.
This is what it feels like to be at a floating casino?
No, it was so awesome. We went on excursions, and I met some interesting people. It was so much fun. So much, and I was so nervous to even go on a cruise. The thought of it was very frightening, but I did it, and it was awesome, and I had a great time. And it was with a coach that had this program. So at some of the nights, there was a lot of rah-rah, like cool people, but there was no going back to my room and getting work done. It was like, now let's go have some fun.
I think maybe there's a trajectory cruise in the works, hosted by Kate Woolman. They all ship out of Florida. They all stop in there anyway, right?
Yeah, right. They do.
Trajectory this week, sponsored by Carnival Cruise Lines.
We have so many fake sponsors on this show.
But they're more fun. They're more fun.
Oh my gosh. I love
it. If we took on real sponsors for this show, we would have to be serious about them. That's frankly going to be a problem for me.
Some of them would like it.
I once hosted a convention for. I emceed an event at a convention for the people who run like community television stations. You know, those people that can't do advertising. And so my shtick the entire night was this segment is sponsored by, and they can't do brand name sponsors. Sponsored by water. This next segment, sponsored by shampoo. Generic.
All the shampoo.
Brandless shampoo. All of it. And to these people, that was the funniest shit they've ever heard in their entire life.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And I was so funny, in fact, that I did not get invited back.
Oh.
They're like, and this is how I interpret that. There's no way you could do better than that. And welcome to my mindset where I win even when I lose. I don't play games I can lose. I refuse. Not my shtick. So the whole point, though, is that the pause can be pretty scary if you're used to not moving. But, you know, your brain, your body, they need these times to not move. They need that pattern interrupt. And I think the whole point of taking a week is to take enough time, like you did, Kate, and your cruise, to get comfortable with your surroundings, and however long it takes to get comfortable. It might take a couple of days to really get your brain kind of turned off or tuned in to what your new surroundings are. So, so the call to launch this week is to schedule some time to think. I've got mine scheduled right now. I mean, I'm not scheduled to think right now. Clearly, I'm not thinking. I'm not thinking right now. But I have time coming up in July, and I have my Think Week already scheduled. And I'll be in the woods, and it looks like camping, but I'm going to be thinking about my business. And it's the place where I do get disconnected. It's my camping spot has no internet access. And I'm going to take my reading materials, and I'll take my old school pen and pad, and I'll go to town on some things that I'm going to stop doing. And I'll work through some books. I'm going to make it happen. So
You always do.
Call to launch is to schedule your time on the calendar. And when you have done that, tweet us. Tell us when your date is that you're scheduled to go think. All right. So tweet us at Gets Rejected, or go to facebook.com/Gets Rejected and use the hashtag ThinkWeek when you do that. Until next time, Get Rejected.
Hey, thanks for listening. If we could, we'd reach over and give you a big hug. But since we can't, before you go, can we ask you a favor? In order for us to create shows you can't wait to listen to, we need your feedback. So please head over to iTunes and leave us a review. It'll only take a minute, but it will mean the world to us, especially if you decide to give us 5 stars. And if you really loved it, take a screenshot, share it on your favorite social media sites, and invite your friends to join the party. Until next time, get trajected. You're good about your Think Week, getting off the grid.
Well, honestly, I took a real lesson from that entrepreneur in Fredericksburg. He defined those 2 things in spring and fall that made him so happy. And so now his year is 6 months. Like, he looks at, when he's done with his fall thing, he looks forward so much to the spring thing. So he's going to sprint for a little while, and then he's going to chillax, and he's going to sprint for a while, and he's going to chillax, and then take that break and disconnect and come back re-energized and focused and get clarity and all those things. So I decided, you know what? Nothing makes me happier than summer in Oregon, USA.